Speaking of officials, you saw, like, you spoke some about the opioid epidemic, and also there being some decriminalization in Washington State.
They're going to roll out a bill to decriminalize drugs in Washington State very soon, which most likely will pass. They're trying to do it like Oregon, and a lot of people are excited about it. There are some benefits to it, but it's kind of like a backhanded thing to the black community. So
a few blacks,
Latinos. I mean,
but I know you're speaking for us mostly.
Speaking, for us, because we were called junkies. We were called crackheads. They were combining us with our homes. We're taking our homes from us, splitting homes up, giving people crazy amount of time, jail time, prison time, taking assets. Generational wealth that would be built if people were able to keep these things, even if they made a mistake. It's crazy because we're at a point where everything's becoming legal now. Everything's becoming cool to do and gaining profit. And most of these things were built around black people to bring them down.
Their demise. And that's one thing I did see is that, now it's being called a sickness. Now people, instead of going to jail, they go to, to get well, they go to wellness centers, they go to rehabilitate. Black people might have been smoking crack and still doing 5-10 years, even though they're smoking it. But I see that, the difference in the care for it. Now they have safe houses where people safe injection sites where people go make sure they don't overdose and, do the right drugs. Like, it's crazy how it's going now. So, but yeah, I remember Portland decriminalized drugs, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. And, there's people, who do magical stuff down there. So,
and it's not funny, but it's sad because I represent us. And I know that we have been red line. We've been, it's been a genocide when it comes to drugs in America. Disenfranchised. We've been set back many times due to laws created to target black people in black communities, and also us being given drugs that we wouldn't know how to create or get if it wasn't for certain powers that be.
We ain't have no plane, man.
We have no plane.
Coca leaf grows where we can't get to.
Yeah, it's hella hot where it grows naturally. So it's just all types of things that you can think about who supplied and who did what to what community. But all I know is that when it comes to Washington State, you guys are lacking the support on, if not giving reparations, giving the resource to those to put themselves in the forefront of businesses and making new programs.
I was say same thing with the legalization of marijuana. What place was it you said just gave minorities a year head start?
Oklahoma, a year and a half ago, they gave minorities a head start a year and a half ago on legalization of marijuana, meaning you were able to get in on licenses, you were able to get permits, and be able to be a part of the process from seed to weed. Washington State hasn't done that for anything. I think we are owed a lot by Washington State as black people, whether it be from redlining with our property, whether it be drug laws, or whether it be with this weed legalization and how you guys gave all the benefits and resources of those who own businesses, was a majority white and Asian people who had nothing to do and who were never affected by this beforehand. It's a lot to be said and a lot to be talked about, but I think a movement's going to come and a time's going to come where we're going to stand up, because ain't no way you let gentrification happen. It hasn't done, and there's so many other things you could have did to help us not only become better with our situations, but invest in our futures. And those are some of the things you could have did. Things you took away in the past that are great now and making money now, he could have gave to us now. So it's just sickening to see the opioid epidemic giving them so much power to change laws and then give them safe sites. And also now it's time to decriminalize when you guys have gained billions off gelling and putting people in
taking
prison.
People's cars, houses,
all that. You made billions. You've set us back. Assets, houses, and all that been taken. The Brown Act of '75, something you can look up yourself, which started in California, but Washington adopted it, where if you or any one of your family sells drugs or does drugs, if you're connected to a household, your household is up. You could get it taken away. It's certain things that people don't know about that had to do with if not the progress of black people, it's to slow down the progress of black people. So we really need to get into not only these laws, but things that are forthcoming that are supposed to give the state wealth, supposed to give the city wealth. There's things that need to be brought up and put light on so they can shine and we can get the truth out of this, because the laws with this weed stuff and all this decriminalizing them, it upsets me. It really does. I know I've lost people, whether it be to death or whether it be to the system, and even myself going through things in the system, because of the same things that are okay now and cool now to do. It's really disheartening. It makes me upset.
No, yeah, me too. Shoot, there's some dope dealers who could have been chemists. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to cook crack.
Real,
It's not easy to cook crack.
It's not even a joke. That's real talk. We got chemists in the
seriously.
kitchen. You know what I'm talking about? Hairstylists work with chemicals like doctors do. Like, you know, we in the hood whipping it up, but you guys took it from us. So it's time you give it back.
And then turn it into Ritalin. I think it said Ritalin is one molecule
Of
away
crack?
from being crack.
I believe it.
Yeah, like literally, like they showed the models,
The DNA structure.
The structure.
Not,
And it was
not the
literally
DNA,
one-
but the structure of the
one molecule, one strand from being, crack.
Well,
It's insane.
That's horrible. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That is something that's close to me, not but just the how they're treating, how the opioid epidemic is affecting white people, but also the decriminalizing of laws and how they are just turned a bad eye to giving us chances and resources for the marijuana industry in Washington State. Every state that is legalizing it are putting black people first and people of color first because they know we were targeted. So Washington State, I don't know what you're going to do, but you have to figure it out.
You guys failed us, but it's not over. It's not over.
Far from it.